you know, there's been a progression or an evolution of medicine. And you can say in general terms over the last couple of decades, we've gone from an era which I experienced when I was in medical school back in the 80s, where there was a huge chasm between conventional medicine and so-called alternative medicine. And you didn't dare talk about alternative therapies if you were in a mainstream medical center. It was really taboo.
Because it was just considered to be kind of hokum and...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Completely discounted, a priori, de facto, ignored, and actually ridiculed as not only meaningless but probably harmful. So we went from an era of conventional medicine, which was very, very dominant, and then there was conversation about alternative medicine. And there began to be reports, you know, the famous report from James Reston, who went to China and had a surgery under acupuncture. And this started to come out in the Western world, and people began to say, maybe there is something from these other traditions that can be meaningful for people. And then we went from the era of conventional medicine that was completely separate from alternative medicine to a period in the 90s where there was a new lexicon, where it was called CAM, or complementary and alternative medicine. And we had this wonderful era where suddenly even Congress was you know, apportioning funds to develop a national center for complementary and alternative medicine. There was funding and research to explore these kinds of different therapies. And then in the last 4 or 5 years, we've been in an era that has had an even newer term that's called integrative medicine. So now it's acceptable, even in the high levels of mainstream medicine, to say that particularly with you know, diseases that are very, very challenging, like cancer, that it's acceptable to say that we can have an integrative approach, which means let's look at how can we integrate safe and effective complementary therapies and alternative therapies into mainstream medicine, blend them skillfully with conventional therapies. And so we're in an era now that's called integrative medicine. But nothing ever stops. Evolution always continues. And I believe that the next evolutionary step beyond integrative medicine will be an era that I call the era of multidimensional medicine, where we don't apologize for the fact any longer, or minimize the fact any longer, that we really are multidimensional beings, and that our thoughts and our beliefs and our feelings and emotions have a very important impact on our physical health, and where we also can embrace not only the physical, the mental, the emotional dimensions of our being, but also the spiritual dimension, and also begin to understand how our interconnectedness with each other and with the world affects our physical health. So I think that's the next step. That's where we're going. And it's exciting time. I mean, it's, you know, and trying to be a midwife for this is an interesting endeavor. But it's
carry the flag for that.
Yeah, but it's really meaningful. I mean, I can't think of anything more meaningful to do with, you know, with my work.